Good evening, teacher. We are Group 4 and we will talk about the psychological factors that influence the second language acquisition. First, personal factors. In groups dynamics, interaction among classmates is fundamental to learning. Encourage the exchange of ideas, joint problem solving, and the building of social relationships. For example, collaborative projects and class discussions. On attitudes toward the teachers and materials, the perception of the teacher and the disposition for study materials affect motivation and engagement, as thus a positive attitude toward study materials as it increases motivation and creates an environment conducive to learning. For example, appreciation for the diversity of materials. In individual learning techniques, each student has a unique learning style where self assessment and reflection are key to identify effective methods. Encouraging autonomy promotes responsibility and self regulation of learning. For example, personalized study schedules. Finally, the combination of these personal factors influence overall academic performance.
Good evening, teacher. My name is Paola Jimenez. The best method for learning a new language varies from person to person, and there are several person and social factors that influence the learning of a second language. In a foreign language, you know that it requires concentration and commitment. Motivation, other is attitude, other is age, intelligence, aptitude, cognitive style, and personality um, are considered to be factors that greatly influence the process of the second language um, acquisition. Among other among other things, these factors can determine which main type of second language teaching is best. Implicit, which is communication based teaching, or explicit, which is formal instruction.
Good afternoon, teacher. My name is Michelle, and I am talking about two factors that can affect the second language acquisition. The first is personality, and the second is language ability. The personality is a psychological factor that can influence in the second language acquisition. Here have some aspects of a personality that can affect the second language learning. The first is extroversion and introversion. Extrovert people be more comfortable participating in social interaction and practicing the language. In the other hand, introvert people may prefer more reflective method of learning. The self-esteem and the anxiety are also personal factors that can may affect the second language learning. The learner's self-esteem depends on whether or not the learner participates. The self-esteem affects the confidence to communicate in the second language and the disposition to take risk to do new things. The anxiety can obstruct the effectiveness of the second language acquisition because the learners are afraid of making mistakes. The second factor that I talk is the language ability. As we know, the language ability is the person's ability to use and understand the language, that the target language, effectively. Effectively. The aspects which language ability covers are the ability to understand spoken language, the ability to communicate verbally, the ability to understand and extract meaning for written text, and the ability to express oneself in writing. And that is all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mayra Ramos. I'm going to talk about learning strategies that is very important that a teacher should have in mind at the time to prepare the material or organize a course or teach the regular classes, because if he knows and has a notion of these learning preferences, it will be easier to help the students to acquire new information. Um, According to these learning styles, we have some visual, auditory, kinesthetic, sociological learners. The visual ones are encouraged by visuals, by pictures, by graphs, charts. The auditory ones are the ones that prefer visual and listen to material, discussions, conferences, discussions, lectures. The kinesthetics are more encouraged for physical activity. They like learn by doing. So, for example, some activities in the classroom that they can move around or they can dance or anything like that. Logical learners, they prefer doing some thinking to acquire knowledge. Social. On the other hand, they prefer discussions group, working groups to acquire information. And finally, we have the interpersonal, the ones that prefer to work individually because they can apply self-study methods, and they learn better in that way. So, thank
Good evening, dear teacher. So, continuing with the factors that influence a second language um, in a second language improving. So, we got these cognitive strategies. So, the cognitive strategies focus on mental processes such as word association and mind mapping. For example, word association techniques, mind mapping exercises. It's important to enhance mental connection and understanding of the language. On the other hand, we have metacognitive strategies. This involves goal setting and self-assessment. For example, setting language learning goals or a regular self-assessment. Then we got social strategies, which the aim is to improve communication skills and contextualize learning. An example could be a group discussion. Another thing we got is an overall impact on language acquisitions, and then we got practical implications like the importance of improving linguistic competences. So, in conclusion, learning strategies are integral to process of acquiring a second language. So, this is very important in the factors that we're going to help us in acquiring a second language. That would be all for this time. I hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye.